Coming up tonight on News Center Now, the latest on the situation in Madison, plus a survivor of a domestic violence incident and what she has to say about it.
Plus, researchers may have found an alternative if you're super afraid of needles.
And there's no more incentive to run faster than if you're being chased by a bear.
This is News Center Now.
Nobody thinks that that's going to happen or that somebody you know can do something so horrible.
When a loved one is a victim of domestic violence, you may not always know they're in danger until it's too late. A lesson a Maine mother learned when her son was murdered by his partner. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Hill.
And I'm Chris Costa in for Lee Goldberg. Yesterday's triple homicide in Madison is sparking a conversation about violence within the home and how to save someone before it becomes deadly.
Police say a father shot and killed his own son, his longtime partner, and a neighbor yesterday morning. Officials are calling it an extreme case of domestic violence. Now, the shooter was confronted and killed by police, but not before they say he shot a fourth person. That man is now recovering at Eastern Maine Medical Center. Carol Tuttle Jr. is the accused gunman. His girlfriend Lori Hayden, son Dustin Tuttle, and neighbor Michael Spalding are the deceased victims. We've since heard from that neighbor's son, who said he was helping Hayden leave her abusive husband, but Tuttle may have believed the two were having an affair. Of course, this begs that question: what could drive someone to take the lives of 3 people and injure a fourth person? And piece by piece, we're slowly learning more about this. News Center's Samantha York is following the case in Madison. She joins us now. And Sam, the first question: was there a history of violence here?
Well, Amanda, we know that Tuttle and Lori Hayden had been together for a number of years. They were in a common law marriage, but as far as their histories go, they're both very clean. The only thing that we were able to find is that Tuttle had an assault charge back in 2004, but other than that, it was really just minor traffic violations.
Like, Sammy, how far along are police on in this investigation?
Well, they are still investigating. It was an officer-involved shooting, so those officers have been put on leave. They'll be in an investigation of their own. We do know that today the autopsies were performed on the 3 victims in Augusta. They expect Tuttle's autopsy to be performed on Friday. And right now there are a lot of stories going on about what happened, but police say they're still looking for a motive.
So, Sam, Tuttle and Hayden lived in that house for a long time. Did the neighbors ever suspect that there was something wrong?
Well, neighbors say that Tuttle was hot and cold. That's how they described him. They said some days he was friendly, other days you wouldn't want to be around him. But as far as domestic abuse goes, they say they always kind of suspected that something might have been going on, but they never thought that this would have happened.
It's amazing how one moment one person can be like this and the next moment they're like that. He is the type of man that you don't look in the eyes as he drives by. You don't want to provoke him. You never know what he's capable of. He's reckless.
Now, as you mentioned, the 4th victim, Harvey Austin, he did undergo surgery this morning at Eastern Maine Medical Center. Police do say that they expect him to survive those injuries. Chris and Amanda.
Sam, thanks so much. The situation in Madison is deeply disturbing, but unfortunately, it's far from unprecedented.
Right. In 2013, Lori Reardon's son was killed by his partner after they parted on bad terms. She says the signs of an unhealthy relationship not always obvious, which is kind of the scary part.
It's not something you get over. You just have to find a way to get up and go on every day.
Lori Reardon remembers the breakup.
And he was persistent about continuing to reach out to Matthew.
Her son Matthew was shot and killed by his ex-boyfriend in 2013. State police classified the incident as a domestic violence homicide.
We said it can't be because Matthew didn't live in fear. He wasn't afraid. But ultimately, afraid or not, this person couldn't let go. And he said, "Oh, he's just crazy, Mom. He's just crazy." And I said, "Well, like, would he ever do anything?" But never in a million years did I think that he would do anything to the magnitude that he did.
Victim advocates say people currently in an unhealthy relationship can feel conflicted about how to safely remove themselves from it.
It's stressful, it's scary, it's extremely difficult.
Friends and family with questions about changes in their loved one's behavior should call one of the confidential anonymous hotlines.
Dramatic changes in the sort of context of a relationship can sometimes be what gets someone thinking like, maybe there's something more here, maybe there's something for me to be worried about.
Even when the signs are not obvious, Lori says anyone who has questions should speak up.
If you're on the outside looking in, I would say you need to do the same. You can't just look the other way.
Now, there are a number of domestic violence resource centers across the state. Victim advocates say either the person in the relationship or someone from the outside can call all of their confidential hotlines to find ways to support their loved one. The number is 1-866-834-HELP. Now, Lori also has helped set up a 5K memorial run for her son that raises money for a scholarship in his honor. It takes place on July 15th.
All right, after a near perfect stretch of weather, some rain in the forecast tomorrow.
Keith Carson joins us now with a first look. Hey, Keith.
Hey, guys, but when you're on a roll, you're on a roll. It actually looks like you've a little bit less rain than we thought as we head into tomorrow. A few showers and storms out there right now, mainly across northern Maine and the mountains. We had a severe storm that just moved to the north of Presque Isle, now up into Canada here. Showers and storms falling apart pretty quickly as they kind of align themselves with 95 up towards Holton. So just a few showers out there. Most of us, though, dry through the rest of the late afternoon and early evening. Temperatures are comfortable. You can see the ocean influence, obviously, up towards Bar Harbor, up into Lubec as well. 69 in Portland. That's a big cool down from midday as we get an onshore flow, but away from that onshore flow into the mid 70s pretty consistently. Tonight should be pretty quiet, not much going on, relatively comfortable sleeping weather. Now tomorrow originally looked like it was going to be pretty rainy, particularly early in the week when we're looking at the computer models, but the computer models have more and more backed off that heavy rain idea, and for the most part have put this storm offshore for us. So we'll call it scattered showers, but guys, overall the forecast has improved. We get us some showers as well, but there's some sunshine in there we'll talk about in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Keith. We'll see you in a bit. All right, we can file this one under some of the strange stories we've had to cover this year.
Yeah, you remember the man who allegedly set free bed bugs at Augusta City Hall? He's now facing criminal charges. The Kennebec County District Attorney says Charles Manning was charged with misdemeanor assault and obstructing government administration. City officials say Manning came to City Hall earlier in the day to ask for help with a bed bug problem. When they couldn't help him, he came back with about 100 bed bugs, setting them free on the counter. City Hall was shut down for cleaning and extermination. The district attorney says Manning's financial responsibility for that will be addressed in court. Well, if you were walking around the Old Port on Tuesday night, you may have spotted a celebrity.
Former late-night comedian Jay Leno made a quick stop into Maine to take a few off-roading vehicles for a spin. How and How Technologies, they're based in Waterboro. They're known for the tank featured in the latest Fast and Furious movie. Brothers Jeff and Michael also designed the Rip Chair, built to hold a wheelchair and move through tough terrain. They tell us Leno flew in from California to film an episode for his show Jay Leno's Garage. That episode is set to air in December on CNBC, we're told. And also told by Michael Howe that when Jay was driving that tank, that he got a little car sick.
I wonder if he'll come back. Very cool. Still to come on now.
I had to move my son onto my lap. He's 25 pounds. He's half my height. I was very uncomfortable.
A mother says the airline gave her toddler's seat to another passenger, forcing her to carry him in her lap, which the FAA says is not a very safe way to fly.
Plus, when you see a black bear, all the experts say, do not run. But what if you see black bears when you're out for your morning jog? Happened to one Auburn man. When we come back. All right, if you're in the market for a new job, you may want to pay attention to this.
The job search site Indeed just released its list of the best companies to work for in 2017. So here's a look at the top 5. Topping the chart is Salesforce, which is a cloud software company based in California. The next two are airlines, Southwest and then JetBlue. Number 4 and 5 probably aren't very surprising. It's Facebook and then Google.
You can tell some people on Southwest love their job when they sing to you when you board.
They
Has that
never
ever happened
sing,
to you?
No, they never sing to
it's
me.
happened to me.
It's usually because I'm bored and I'm like half asleep. So.
That's fair. Not all good news, though, for the airline industry. United Airlines once again getting bashed for their customer service today.
The company is apologizing for giving away a toddler's seat, forcing the mother to hold him in her lap for hours. She took pictures of the cramped conditions on her phone. It was a 3.5-hour flight from Houston to Boston. Shirley Yamauchi says she bought a ticket for her 27-month-old son months ago. But Yamauchi says a standby passenger came on board and told her that her son was in his seat. When she complained to a flight attendant, she says the woman shrugged and said the flight was full. United says gate agents inaccurately scanned the boy's boarding pass, showing he was not on the flight, so staff released his seat to another passenger.
Yeah, United has released a statement saying we deeply apologize to Miss Yamauchi and her son for the experience. We are refunding her son's ticket and providing a travel voucher. We are also working with our gate staff to prevent this from happening again.
Well, if you have a home shopping addiction, get ready for some big changes.
I kind of do. Rivals HSN and QVC are set to become one home shopping network powerhouse. QVC's Liberty Interactive will purchase Home Shopping Network in a stock deal worth more than $2 billion. The Home Shopping Network founded the 24-hour-a-day shopping channel industry 40 years ago. Combined, QVC and HSN produce more than 55,000 hours of content and reported over $12 billion in sales last year. But they're actually seeing a decline because more of their shoppers are turning to online stores, which we've seen with Amazon going crazy lately.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we want to take a minute here to wish the 43rd President, George W. Bush, a very happy birthday. And many of you expressed the same on social media.
Shane says, happy birthday, George W. Bush. Beers are on me. What time you want me over?
Carrie jokes, happy birthday, President Bush. Could you give us a present and return to the White House?
It's a funny one. A few ladies share the special day. Carolyn says, well, President Bush and I have the same birth date. I am 1 year older. Happy birthday. And Jeannie says, happy birthday, Mr. President. My birthday also 7/6/46. So happy birthday to you two as well.
Very cool.
Hey, when we come back, face to face with two Maine black bears.
They stopped, looked at me, I stopped immediately and looked at them. So I had to make a decision within 5 seconds.
A professional runner puts his skills to the test on his morning run. How he got away next.
And summer showers may be moving in to spoil our weekend plans. Keith maps it out for us when we come back. A professional runner says he got the scare of a lifetime when black bears joined him on his jog.
It's a frightening predicament, but as News Center's Jess Gagne shows us, it's one runners and other outdoorsy people should prepare for when they head out into wooded areas.
Running on a path like this can make you feel at one with nature. But for a man who runs here often, nature got a little too close for comfort. To become an elite runner like Moninda Marube, constant practice is part of the equation.
I came here just like I do every other day.
The distance runner from Kenya now lives in Auburn, and an early morning run down this trail off Whitman Spring Road came to a sudden end when he says not one, but two black bears crossed his path.
They stopped, looked at me, I stopped immediately and looked at them. So I had to make a decision within 5 seconds.
Marube did what his instincts told him to and ran.
Sadly, that was not a good option.
The bears took off after him, but Marube was able to shimmy his way into a camp building before they caught up. He says the bears could have easily broken through the screen that separated the two parties, but instead, the bears ran off together into the woods.
I cannot say that it's my feet that saved me, no. It's God who saved me.
According to Maine Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, when it comes to bears, running away is not the best move.
He should have stood his ground. yelled and screamed, waved his arms, and acted big and loud and scary, and in all likelihood the bears would have ran away.
Stern says if bears see someone running from them, their instinct is to chase. Though they don't wind up in the path of humans very often, Stern says runners should be ready.
In southern and coastal Maine, the bear population is increasing, so such encounters are probably going to increase.
As for Marube, his close encounter is not sending him running for the hills.
I'm not deterred. I might change my time, but I will always run here.
In Auburn, Jessica Gagne, News Center.
Okay, but now he knows what to do in the future. Right. I think what's really interesting too is that biologists said that if you are concerned you may see a bear, just carry pepper spray with you. And if they get too close, do a little spray of the pepper spray. That's not something I would think would actually work.
Did not know.
Gotta hit him in the eyes.
Right?
That's the important thing.
Gotta make it count.
My stepdad and mom ran into a black bear hiking, and my stepdad said, "I don't need to run faster than the bear, just faster than your mother."
Oh.
That is a great line. Yeah, that's a great line.
Because I'm usually the slow one.
Because you really can't outrun a bear in full. If they were in full sprint, full pursuit, they're like 30-something miles an hour.
Unless you're an elite runner.
Yeah. Even still, I think the fastest human is 20-something miles an hour.
Crazy.
Hopefully it doesn't come up. Anywho, let's have a look at the weather, shall we? That's what I came for. All right, we got a few showers out there across northern Maine. We thought we had a little disturbance that might do that, and sure enough, if anything, there's less shower activity than I would have thought. I thought maybe a few of them would pop up into the western mountains, but that hasn't been the case. They've been mainly across northern Maine. Had a quick flare-up of a severe storm towards Presque Isle. Watch this cell right here and this one down here. They could be just little hailers, just the way they're kind of celling themselves together, and they're kind of bright a little bit on the radar. Otherwise, most of us are in for a nice late afternoon, early evening, not a whole lot going on. Temperatures are in the upper 60s along the coastline where a sea breeze has set in, and they're in the mid 70s across the interior. We've been on a great stretch temperature-wise, have not heard many complaints about where we've been sitting. Basically between 72 and 82 has been our strike zone for the past week, week and a half. And that looks to continue really into the weekend and the next week as well. Dew points have crept up a little bit. Not going to say it's humid because it's really not, but it's getting to the point where you notice at least the humidity, and the humidity will increase tomorrow and Saturday as well. Now this storm system, as I mentioned, has trended farther and farther out to sea. Still, there's a squeeze play between this storm and a cold front that's approaching. So the best way to play tomorrow is going to be scattered showers, first along the coastline and then second in the mountains. Some of the interior locations between probably won't see any showers at all on Friday. On Saturday, we start with sunshine. A juicy disturbance, though, comes through, gives us showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, and I think most of us do catch a shower or storm later in the day on Saturday before we clear out into a beautiful day on Sunday, particularly along the coastline. Hour-by-hour forecast showing you the storm largely missing to our south here on Friday, but notice a few showers and storms in the mountains on Friday afternoon, and then Saturday, here come the showers and storms, again bubbling up before we clear out on Sunday. So as we have been doing lately, get about 3/4 of the weekend with nice weather. So dew points, they're going to be a little all over the place. They get sticky tomorrow and particularly Saturday. Very dry though Sunday and Monday. Back to some sticky weather on Tuesday and then dry again on Wednesday. So I know that's important to a lot of people. A lot of people do not dig the humidity. Overall, I don't see anything that says we're going to break into the big 90s here or cool down in an unusual way. Over the next 10 days, temperatures pretty zonal, pretty flat, pretty nice. Best chance of getting warm will be Tuesday. I could see inland locations getting into the mid 80s there with an increase in humidity. Along the coastline though, we'll play it between 73 and 82 for the next week. So, you know, we talked about this in our Facebook Live earlier. We've really settled into a really nice summer pattern after all the complaining about spring. Quietly, we've had a couple of really nice weeks.
Yeah, it's been okay. Our viewers, though, are questioning your spicy trough.
Spicy trough, yes. I didn't actually have time to explain that. But basically, troughs usually don't touch off many showers and thunderstorms. This is robust. It has a lot of energy to it.
Ah, okay.
Yes, but I don't use normal words, so.
Right. This is key.
It's words that we can understand.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a new warning about placenta pills.
A few weeks ago, we told you about placenta pills, how a lot of women are actually ingesting them after childbirth to prevent postpartum illness, even depression. CDC, though, has repeatedly said there is no evidence to suggest eating the placenta has any health benefits, but This week, they released notes suggesting placenta pills may do more harm than good. Because the manufacturing of these pills is not regulated by the FDA, they are not always properly sterilized. A woman and her infant in Oregon got sick after she ingested contaminated placenta pills. Again, that is according to the CDC. Meanwhile, medical researchers think they have found an alternative for kids or even adults afraid of needles.
And it may be as easy as putting on a Band-Aid, meaning we may soon be able to administer our own shots right at home. Zachary Lashway shows us what they're working on.
Ready? In the U.S., only 40% of adults get the flu shot.
But that could change according to results of an early clinical trial conducted by Emory University and researchers from the Georgia Institute of Technology.
A microneedle patch to a person using it looks a lot like a Band-Aid or a nicotine patch, but if you zoom in under the microscope, what you'll see is that there are some microscopically small needles. They puncture painlessly into the skin, they dissolve. Encapsulated within those microneedles is the vaccine, which is then released into the skin after a few minutes. We compared the immune response of a regular injection to that associated with the microneedle patch, and they were similar to each other. The microneedle patch may even be a little bit better.
Researchers say one group of people in the trial used the patches on themselves.
And they did so successfully. Someday, we hope in the near future, people will be able to go to the store, pick up patches for themselves and the family, bring them home, put them on, and as a result, it will be much more accessible for people to get the vaccine.
All right, Rob Caldwell is here with a preview of what's coming up at 5:30.
President Trump has traveled to Europe. He's there for a major economic summit with other world leaders. Among the issues that they're talking about, how to deal with an increasingly defiant North Korea and President Trump's first face-to-face meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Also coming up at 5:30, when you were a kid, did you have to do chores? An awful lot of us did, but apparently that's not so common anymore. A lot of young people do not have to do chores. We'll find out why coming up on News Center at 5:30. Did you have to do them?
Oh, I did, for
Did you?
sure.
Yep, absolutely. Not that many. I was lucky. But Lee Goldberg does not want to show that story to his kids, I bet.
No, I bet.
Goldberg, I bet, didn't do them. He's the type who would have weaseled out.
He would have.
Yeah.
He would have figured that one out. We'll be right back.
All right, today's Brain Drops, viewer question. I love getting these. Mary Libby asked, is this a shelf cloud? She took a picture out of a plane in Spain. There's a joke there somewhere, but let's take a look at the picture real quickly, and I'll show you what it is. Where's the picture? There we go. All right, see that right there? So what we're actually looking at is an anvil, the top of a thunderstorm. So her plane's probably 35 to 40,000 feet. That's the anvil. Do we have the schematic? And I can show you. The anvil is basically a part of the thunderstorm that gets to the stratosphere, and then it doesn't have any more room to rise. It's basically hitting the top of the part of our atmosphere that contains weather. And when it does so, it fans out. So every thunderstorm has an anvil, and she saw that from above. In that case, for Spain, which does have some pretty good thunderstorms.
That was a pretty impressive cloud.
Yeah, so that's cool. Viewer questions, love them. Email me, Facebook, whatever.
All right, News Center at 5:30 starts now.